Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to do the ignition coils as well as the spark plugs in a Porsche 981, either the Cayman and Boxter. This is for the S model, so with the 3.4 flat 6. So this will work for both the Cayman and Boxster. And a little disclaimer, this is not technically a how-to, it's how I replace the ignition coils and the spark plugs. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so my Porsche 981S is a little less subtle than most. But in order to get to everything, we're going to have to raise up the entire vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that in a minute. But beforehand, let me show you some of the parts we're actually going to be using. So obviously the first off is ignition coils. So this is the, shoot, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Alright, so this is actually from Suncoast Parts. You can actually get these from Amazon as well. Alright, so for all the stuff you're going to need, obviously you're going to need the ignition coils. I'm doing all 6 in mine, as well as all 6 spark plugs. For some of the tools you're going to need, obviously you're going to need a wrench. So this one actually is obviously a ratcheting one. It has a little bend neck, so I can, this one I can also bend it to different angles in case I need to, because it can get like a little tight, and having like the ability to be able to turn or something like that is very helpful. Depending on your tools, there's actually these little step downs or step ups depending on which one you're using. So as you can see, like for this one, it's 3/8 of an inch on the top, but then on the open side, it's a 1/2 inch. Same thing with all these, 1/2 to 3/8, 1/4 to 3/8, 3/8 to 1/4, and also the spark plug removal tools. For these spark plugs for the Porsches, it's actually going to be the 5/8. You don't necessarily need all of the other ones, but I just went ahead and got them just in case. I do have a Volkswagen Jetta, so I'm like, oh, just in case that one needs it, or anything else, I just already have them. And you're definitely most likely going to need one of these. It's like a little bend joint, so it pretty much bends in any direction, and this will help you to get into like the really tight spaces, because one of the ignition coils is going to be very tricky to get to. So these are very helpful. These are like $8 on Amazon. This is like 15 for like all 5, and then this I think is like also around like maybe like $8. Another thing you're gonna need is extensions. So these are definitely gonna come in handy. So for like all the stuff right here, down in the description down below, I actually have links to all the Amazon ads. So if you want to get any one of these things, they're fairly cheap, and you're definitely gonna use them for long term. Like these are actually pretty heavy duty. It was like $8 for like all 3 of them, and I guarantee I'm going to use those in the future. Spark plug sockets, I'm not sure, but I got them just in case. And then obviously step up or step downs and these extensions, I'll use those like all the time. So I also left out, actually have a torque screwdriver set I also got on Amazon, and it's pretty much a whole set that has all the different torque screwdrivers. I think I'm going to be needing like maybe like 25 for this project, so if you guys ever need a torque screwdriver, these are definitely the go-to to have. This set is super cheap. Also, there's a link for that down in the description down below. So if you want to pick up any of these tools on Amazon, definitely go down. Alright, so unlike most engines, the Porsche Caymans actually have the ignition coils and the spark plugs kind of behind the wheel. So it is a mid-engine, so the engine kind of sits right around in this area up inside. So we're going to have to jack up the whole car, pull the back wheels off before we can even get close to touching anything. Alright guys, so once you have the wheels pulled off, they're actually located kind of like, so right here is the catalytic converter. They're located kind of like up, like way up in here. So let me try to get the camera in there and show you exactly where they are. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need this little, it's kind of like a little flexible thing for like a power drill. I'm going to be able to put some of these little Torx bits in there. So once I use these, it kind of looks like it's a 27. We will see. But yeah, this is definitely going to be helpful. But let me show you exactly where these are. Alright guys, so you can see right there is one of them. And then let me adjust this light. You can see the other one right there. And the third one is up a little bit further. And let me try to get that light in there so you can kind of see it. But right up in there. So this is going to be very difficult to get to. Also, watch out for this little piece of metal right here. It's kind of sharp. This little area is kind of tight getting into. That's why I suggest using one of these like little flexible things so you can put these little Torx bits into. So I can kind of like work that up in there and then kind of like flex this up to where it needs to go, and then up to that front one. So it's going to be a little tricky to get to, but let's go ahead and get to it. All right, guys, so sometimes you have to kind of like formulate your own kind of weird combination. So with this, I got one of those, like, got the little like rotating like joint. I got the little Torx bit into like a little socket, this long extension, and then the wrench. So I'm going to be able to use this to kind of get all the way up in there for the very first ignition coil, because it's up in there pretty snug. Alright guys, so now I'm going to try this. The wrench, long extension, the little bendy joint, small extension, socket, and bit. Let's see if this will be able to get up in there, but pretty much you're going to have to build your own little setup to be able to figure out what works best for you to be able to get up in there and get this out. Alright, so as you can see on this left side right here, there's a shiny kind of opening. That's actually where one of the ignition coils was. The other one's right here, so you can see the screws right here on the bottom, and then on the top is actually going to be the wire harness. So let's see if I can get the light up in there so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. So right on the top of that, like right here, you're actually going to push down right there, and then you're going to slide this entire thing right up and off. Alright, so now that I got the screw out, I'm going to go in and unplug the wire harness. That's such a pain to get out. So, as you can see, I got out the rear one, the middle one, and the front one is still in there. See if I can get it to focus. Oh, there it is. You can see it up there. It is extremely hard to get to, so I'm going to go ahead, knock out these two, and then I'll come back to that first one. Alright guys, so now I pretty much got the spark plug tool all set up. I got it on an extension with a little pivot joint, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to remove the spark plugs. So right after you remove the ignition coil, you're going to have like that nice shiny clean silver opening. I'm just going to take this, we're going to stick it right up in there because the spark plugs sit at the base of that. Alright guys, so I'm actually going to need an extension onto the spark plug socket just because it sits back really far in there. And there's the spark plug. Alright, so after all that, I finally got the spark plug out. Alright, so now I got the new spark plug. I'm just going to go ahead and stick it inside the spark plug tool. It's just going to pop in because there's like a little rubber insert back inside here that'll actually hold the spark plug in place. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hook it back up to my wrench and everything. And then we're going to stick it right back up inside that hole. Just slide it all the way back, and we're just going to go ahead and screw it back into place. Alright, so I just got the spark plug in. You can kind of see the tip of it just barely right there. But I ended up having to put a bunch of tape around pretty much like the socket to like all the wrench and everything, because when I initially put it in, it actually popped right out, and then the little spark plug tool actually got stuck onto the spark plug. So I pulled everything out, taped it up, so now whenever I pull all this out, it comes out as one unit. But since that's already into place, let me go ahead and put the new ignition coil right in. And it's gonna have to like work it in like a little bit sideways. And then you'll slide it right into place. You want to turn it so that the screw hole is actually facing down, and then the plug is facing straight up. And then you just push it right into place. Just like that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put the screw in and then get it plugged right back in. So now that the screw's back in, all I have to do is just plug it in and it's good to go. And then I'll go ahead and work on the next one. Alright, so after I did the driver's side, I came around to the passenger side, and look how easy those are to get to. So you can see the first one right there on the far left, the middle, and then the front one. The front one's still a little difficult to get to, but should be a lot easier. So I'm just going to go ahead and swap these out, and then the job will be done. Alright guys, so I'm sorry I couldn't really film a lot of the detail. Everything was just so tight in the little area between the catalytic converter and pretty much like the frame of the car. But I really hope that I was able to help you with kind of replacing them on your own. There's 3 on each side, so hopefully you guys can understand exactly what you needed to do. If you have any comments, definitely put down in the description down below. And if you want to pick up some of the tools that I use, there's so much stuff on Amazon, so definitely go check out in the description. Different links for each product will be down there, so definitely go check those out. But if you guys like this video, definitely hit that like button down below. Also, go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you can see all kinds of cool, crazy videos with my Porsche Cayman S, which obviously has a kind of pretty much like a race car build with a giant chassis mounted wing. So definitely like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.